The massive cheetah's amber eyes locked onto Bella, the golden retriever who had raised her. For a heartbeat, time froze. Everyone in the Cincinnati Wildlife Sanctuary held their breath, waiting to see if the wild predator would remember the gentle dog who had been her mother, or if instinct would take over. What happened next left the entire staff in tears. It started 3 years earlier, when a desperate call came into the sanctuary. A female cheetah had died giving birth, leaving behind 3 tiny cubs no bigger than kittens, their eyes still closed, their spotted fur barely visible. Without their mother's milk and warmth, they had hours to live. The sanctuary director, Patricia Morrison, knew that hand-raising cheetahs was nearly impossible. The cubs needed constant care, warmth, and a bond that no human could provide. That's when she thought of Bella. Bella had just weaned her own puppies and was still in that maternal phase where her instincts ran deep. Patricia brought the dying cubs to Bella's pen, placing them near the golden retriever's belly. What happened next was pure magic. Bella immediately began licking the tiny cheetahs, cleaning them just as she had her own puppies. She curled her body around them, providing the warmth they desperately needed. Against all odds, the cubs latched on and began to nurse. For the next 8 weeks, Bella became a full-time mother to 3 cheetah cubs named Zara, Luna, and Thor. She fed them, cleaned them, and taught them how to play. The sanctuary staff watched in amazement as the cubs would tumble over Bella's patient form, nibbling her ears and pouncing on her tail. Bella treated them exactly like her own children, disciplining them with gentle nips when they got too rough, and calling them back with soft barks when they wandered too far. As the cubs grew, they started developing their natural cheetah behaviors. They would crouch low in the grass, stalking Bella's swishing tail. They practiced their lightning-fast reflexes, chasing leaves and insects. But every night, they would pile onto Bella, purring loudly as she licked their faces clean. The bond was undeniable, transcending species in a way that seemed almost miraculous. But nature has its own rules. By 6 months old, the cheetahs were already larger than Bella. Their play had become rougher, their instincts sharper. The sanctuary staff began to worry. These were wild animals, apex predators with killing instincts hardwired into their DNA. They had to be separated. It broke Patricia's heart, but she had no choice. The cheetahs were moved to a larger enclosure, away from Bella. The transition was devastating. Bella stood at the fence for days, whining and calling for her cubs. The cheetahs paced restlessly, clearly missing their dog mother. But as weeks turned to months, they adapted to their new life. They learned to hunt, developed their incredible speed, and grew into magnificent adult cheetahs. Bella, meanwhile, returned to her normal life at the sanctuary, though staff noticed she would often wander near the cheetah enclosure, staring through the fence. 3 years passed. The cheetahs were now fully grown, powerful predators weighing over 100 pounds each, capable of running 70 miles per hour and taking down prey twice their size. They barely remembered their puppy days. Or so everyone thought. Then came the day that changed everything. A storm had damaged part of the sanctuary's infrastructure, and several enclosures needed emergency repairs. In the chaos, Bella somehow slipped through an open gate and wandered into the service corridor behind the cheetah habitat. By the time staff realized what happened, Bella was standing face to face with Zara through the feeding chute, just feet apart. Patricia's blood ran cold. She grabbed the radio, calling for backup, but she knew there wasn't time. If Zara attacked, Bella would be dead in seconds. The cheetah was crouched low, muscles coiled, staring intensely at the dog. This was the moment everyone had feared. Then Zara made a sound. It wasn't a growl or a hiss. It was a chirp, the exact vocalization cheetah cubs make when calling for their mother. Bella's ears perked up. She responded with a soft whine, the same sound she used to call her babies 3 years ago. Zara tripped again, louder this time, and suddenly Luna and Thor appeared, rushing to the fence. All 3 cheetahs were making those baby sounds, their tails high, their bodies relaxed. Patricia carefully opened the gate to the main enclosure, her heart pounding. Bella walked in without hesitation. The three massive cheetahs surrounded her immediately, and for a terrifying second, Patricia thought she'd made a fatal mistake. But then they began rubbing their faces against Bella, purring so loudly the sound echoed through the sanctuary. They were greeting their mother. For the next hour, Bella and her cheetah cubs played together like no time had passed. The cheetahs were gentle, careful with their strength, treating the older dog with a tenderness that seemed impossible for wild predators. They groomed her, laying down beside her just like they did as cubs. Bella licked their faces, her tail wagging nonstop, clearly overjoyed to be reunited with her babies. The sanctuary now allows supervised visits twice a week. The bond between Bella and her cheetah cubs proved that love transcends every boundary we think exists in nature. Those cheetahs, despite growing into powerful hunters, never forgot the golden retriever who saved their lives and showed them what family means. Sometimes the wildest hearts remember the gentlest love. If this story touched you, hit that like button and subscribe for more incredible animal stories that prove love knows no bounds.